right, so today we have Sonnet's October Maker's Box. So this is her holiday box. So let's see what we have inside. We have our card. And then if you're a subscriber, make sure to always scan this QR code because this is where you're going to get your digital press. She makes 5 really beautiful images in the digital press that you can actually print out and use for your own decor. And then she has here a QR code for her video to give you some inspiration. And so it looks like we have from recycled decoupage paper, Yuletide Whispers, and a festive fireside plaid. And the painted photographer has woodland stocking and peppermint wishes. And then the DIY paint, we have cardinal red and salty kiss. And the fusion mineral, we have Fort York red and manna green. And Sweet Pickins milk paint is called Red Wagon. So this is gonna be fun. Let's go ahead and open this guy up. Oh man, you guys, how fun are these? And then she always gives a napkin. So it's a beautiful wreath that says Merry Christmas. Here's the Red Wagon. And then we also get a bonus, you guys. Every month we get a bonus little item. And so this month it looks like we have some little ornaments that we can make. How fun. Out of wood. And here is our fusion, the Fort York red and the manna green, which are beautiful for Christmas colors. Another good one is the Highlander red. And then the DIY paints. We've got the Salty Kiss and the Cardinal Red. So again, it's some more fun colors for Christmas. Let's get into the papers. All right. So this one is the Yuletide Whispers. And again, guys, these papers are exclusively made for Sonnet's Maker Box only. You cannot buy these on any of the recycled retailers' pages or Connie's painted photographer pages. Oh, I love the Christmas masterboards. They are my absolute favorite. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at how fun this is. We've got birds, we've got vintage. Let me see, get this out of the way. Got some more vintage up here in the corner. She's always got her postal stamp stuff. Of course, we have the sleigh with all the reindeer. This is gonna be fun. And look, she's even got some of her plaid into this paper, which is awesome because this whole box is always put together so precisely that everything just will go together with each other. So you've got your plaid, which is in here. And then for Connie's, we've got, she always uses the DIY paint. So Sonnet makes sure to use the colors with the DIY paint that she used in her papers. So this is Peppermint Wishes. We have candy canes in some holly. And Santa is coming to town music background. Gorgeous. And then we have a beautiful stocking with another musical background. And we got pine cones and pine needles, a little bit of holly berry. I love it. Love, love, love it. So now we got to figure out what we're going to do with all of this. Let's go have some fun. So for the first project, my friend gave me some of these blocks, and you can pretty much find them anywhere. You can find them at thrift stores, at the bins, the little blocks with sayings on them. And I'm just going to use the beadboard from one of the previous maker's boxes and cover that up. And then I'm going to use Connie's cute little peppermint candy canes here, and we're going to make a couple little shelf sitters with them. So We're going to decoupage this on, and I'm going to do one in the cardinal red and one in the salty kiss. And then I'm going to use Fusion's antiquing glaze to give it more of an older vibe to it. But you can keep it without the glaze and they look just as cute. So these are fun little things to put in your booths or your shop. Just as a smaller price point for people, but something cute to put in a vignette. And then of course I'm going to use my sandpaper method to just remove the excess paper off of there, get a nice clean edge, but you can still see the white paint underneath a little bit, so I'm just going to touch that up with the cardinal red and then let that dry. And then I'm going to go over with my antiquing glaze and that will seal it up. So I don't have to use a tough coat mat or anything. So here is where I'm just kind of going in and I'm putting a little bit on the edge there, and then I'm using my finger to kind of drag it up onto the paper so that you can see some of the red popping up onto the paper. And like I said before, Sonnet always chooses those colors to go with Connie's papers that she's actually used in her papers, so it always matches perfectly. And I love this antiquing glaze. I usually use the clear wax, dark wax method, but I have kind of gotten obsessed with this antiquing glaze from Fusion. It just has like just the perfect color of that aged brown. You can see the difference there. And so, yeah, that's my new obsession. This next project, I have found this tin. Somebody drilled holes in the bottom. I think they probably used it as a planter. It's rusty crusty. I got it at the bins. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do a coat of the tough coat mat to seal in that rust. I will be decoupaging onto this, and so I want to make sure that that's not going to bleed through. So I did one good coat, pretty even thick coat, and let that dry completely. And then I used that beadboard again. So if you guys get this maker's box, these little, I don't know how many ounces are in these little containers that she pours, but you can get a lot of projects out of these little guys. That's what I love. So I'm going to go in with 2 coats of the beadboard, and actually I think I only used 1 because the pigment is so good, and the decoupage paper that I'm using is that plaid from Recycled Treasures, so it wasn't as necessary to have a really light base, but went ahead with 1 coat, let it dry really well, and then I decoupaged that plaid on here. I initially was going to do a mold on the front and maybe like impress Mary or Joy or something in with the stamps, but then I got the idea to use just a mold of the deer. I actually was going to use the Santa sleigh first, and then I went in with the IOD mold of the deer from the sleigh mold and put him on the front. I painted him that Fusion Fort York red, and that is definitely a lot brighter than that plaid paper, as you'll see. And so what I did was I used the red and then let it dry, and then I used the antique gold rub and buff and brought out all the gorgeous details on that deer, and it kind of toned that red down a little bit too. Okay, so this is where I'm painting that deer, and in that stage you want to be real gentle with your paintbrush, not to distort any of the details. And I'm going to take my Tight Bond Quick and Thick glue and just kind of spread it around with my finger really gently. And then I'm going to flip him over and place him onto my little tin. And I'm thinking it was from Sally from IOD, not sure, but I heard somewhere that if you pull your mold out and paint it while it's wet and then glue it, you're going to have less cracking in your mold. Painting it while it's wet, it kind of seals it a little bit better. I don't know if that's absolutely true or not, but I've been doing it that way, and so far it's come out great. So I thought I would add that little tip in there for you. And then this is where I'm using my finger again really, really gently. I'm just barely touching the highlight parts of the deer there. And then I'm going to take my little fluffy paintbrush and do the same and just kind of blend in that gold a little bit on the sides of the legs and the back and around the whole mold, because you can only get the top part with your finger, so I want to make sure to get those sides as well so it doesn't look odd just having a red line around the side. And I love this project. I think he turned out super cute, even though he wasn't intentionally what I initially thought I wanted, but I think it's really, really cute. And you can put foam in the bottom and put floral arrangements in there. You can put all kinds of like books, like Christmas books, or just fun decor. There's just endless possibilities with this. And I did end up going gold around the trim to tie in with the deer. So I think that was definitely a highlight of adding the detail on this little tin. So this third project is a wooden tray I picked up from either the bins or Goodwill, and it had a pretty shiny finish on it and it was falling off. So just on the outside, I took my 220 sandpaper and really sanded those parts down, but on the inside I left it that satin finish, and because I wanted a little bit more chippy cracking to go on the inside. And so when I was at Sonnet's retreat, I met Sasha from Sweet Pickins Milk Paint, the owner and creator of the new paint, but and she said to always start with your water first and then add your powder, and you will get a more consistent, less lumpy mix. So I'm going to start doing that from now on, and it seemed to work a lot better definitely for this go around. So I am going to be using that red wagon, and I'm going to paint this up. I'm going to use, I believe, 2 coats of the Sweet Pickins Milk Paint on this, and then I'm going to seal it with wax because I did get a lot of chipping on the inside. I didn't want to use a liquid material to then reactivate the paint, so using a wax kind of helps with that. It kind of tones it down to where it'll stick a lot better and not flake off as much. I love milk paint. It's one of my favorite paints to use on things, especially like surfaces that have been pre-painted or have a different finish on them already, because then I can always get that crackle, old style vintage finish. You never know where it's going to crackle or chip, which is kind of fun. It's a mystery, but if that's the type of project you're going for, then definitely milk paint is the way to go. So this is a fun color too, red wagon. It does bring me back to the little radio flyer wagons when I was little, getting drug around by my brothers and tipped over every now and then, because they thought it was funny to bully the little sister. But anyway, so yeah, I think this would be a cute little addition for like a coffee bar to have like the hot cocoa packets in here, and get like the little trays and trinket trays to put in like for the marshmallows and the peppermints and the straws and stuff. That would be kind of a fun little addition to your coffee bar. So let me know what you guys would use this for. Okay, so this fourth project is super simple. I didn't want to waste all of that milk paint, so I took a raw wood masher that I had just from the bins. It was just that really light wood color. I don't think it's old at all. And I painted the handle with that red wagon, and then I went in with my antiquing glaze. Like I said, I'm obsessed, and I painted the bottom with the antiquing glaze and went over the handle. And now I have a fun little holiday kitchen decor. So these I got at the Goodwill, and they are wooden coasters, and there was 3 sets of 4 coasters, and they came originally from Hobby Lobby at $9.99, but they had them for like $4 a set. So I picked all 3 up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the white on the top, and I am going to use the recycled paper Yuletide Whispers, and I'm going to cut out 4 different parts of that paper and decoupage them onto these coasters. And then I'm going to let that dry, and for the finishing, I am actually going to pour epoxy over the top of those and cure them in my little epoxy machine that I got recently. And I think that's going to be a better sealer if you have like a Coke or something on there with condensation, and as far as the water goes, it's going to help protect those coasters a little bit more. So this is such a fun paper. I love Royce's masterboards. They are my most favorite paper that she creates, and it's because there's so many different dimensions in her paper, different images, there's the backgrounds, there's the foregrounds, there's all the colors, and they all kind of coordinate with each other. And so finding a set in one paper is the easiest thing to do. So just like all of my other decoupaging, I'm going to go ahead and put a coat of my Decoupage medium gel on there from Fusion and place these on, let them dry, and then use that sandpaper method to remove the excess. And then I will epoxy them probably tomorrow. And these coasters make great gifts, a Christmas gift for your family or friends, or just to even put in your store booth, sell them as a set, or they can do like a pick and choose, have a set price for 4 coasters for whatever amount of money. But it's always fun for them to be able to kind of pick and choose their own sets of coasters. And so let me know what you guys think. What is your favorite project for today? I think mine's going to be that tin. I had a vision for it going one way, and it kind of turned directions a little bit, and I think it turned out super cute. So I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Make sure to click the link down below on the playlist to see everybody else's creations. And if you want to skip the wait list to get on Sonnet's box, I do have affiliate link in my description box where you don't have to be on the wait list to wait until she reopens it. You can just automatically start getting your monthly box sent to your door so you can create all of the goodness. We'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.